Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Madam, and I'm coming back to you once again. This time we're going to go to NBC News, and this is in the U.S. News column. It says four former officers accused of staging a sham raid to extort nearly $37 million from California man. The former law enforcement and military officers are accused of going through with a fake raid in June of 2019, federal prosecutors say. I will list the article right in all of the details in the description as I always do. It says four former law enforcement and military officers are accused of conducting a sham raid on a California businessman's home in 2019 and forcing him to sign away his rights to his business worth tens of millions of dollars, federal prosecutors said. The defendants, at the behest of the victim's business partner, who financed the bogus raid, entered the businessman's home in Avon and physically assaulted him, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Central District of California said in a statement on Monday. The four phony officers, acting as if it were a legitimate law enforcement operation, forced the man to sign over paperwork relinquishing his multi-million dollar interest in Johnson. I apologize. Uh, Sinogram. I apologize. For that. A Chinese rubber chemical manufacturer, which the victim and his business partner had been in a dispute for years. Prosecutors said. The man's wife and two children were home during the raid. The victim was not identified by name, and neither was his business partner, a woman who was identified only as a uh, unindicted co-conspirator. One, a wealthy Chinese national, the U.S. Attorney's Office said. Stephen Arthur Lankford, age 63, of Canton County, California. Glenn Lewis Corzar, age 63, of Upland, California. Max Samuel Bennett Turbet, age 39, of Australia, who is a United Kingdom's citizen, and Matthew Philip Hart, age 41, of Australia, are charged in a superseding indictment with one count of conspiracy to commit extortion, one count of attempted extortion, one count of conspiracy against the rights, and one count of depredation of rights under the color of law, the office said. Langford is a retired Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy who stopped working for the agency in 2020 and owns a Santa Clara-based process service company. Corzar is also a former county sheriff's deputy who owns a private investigation and security service company. Trebet is a former member of the British military who owns a private investigation and asset recoveries business, and Hart is a former member of the Australian military who owns a management service business, prosecutors said. The four defendants are scheduled to be arraigned Monday afternoon. Their attorney could not immediately be reached for comment. It is critical that we hold public officials, including law enforcement officers, to the same standards as the rest of us. U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada said in a statement, it is unacceptable in a serious civil rights violation for a sworn police officer to take the law into his own hands and abuse the authority of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. If convicted, defendants face a maximum of 20 years in the federal prison for each extortion-related count and up to 10 years in the federal prison for each count related to the depredation of rights, prosecutors said. According to the prosecutors, the victim and his business partner had a years-long dispute over their ownership in the rubber chemical manufacturer. The disagreement led to at least three lawsuits in China and one in Atlanta, prosecutors said. In December of 2018, the unindicted co-conspirator allegedly contacted Trebet to help with her business dispute. She said the long and costly litigation has not been the smart way to handle her dispute and asked Trebet to find a different solution to finish the problem. Prosecutor said she promised Trebet that if he helped her, we can both retire, authorities said. Trebet and the unindicted co-conspirator drafted proposed settlement agreements calling for victim 1 to transfer assets, including 36,972,386 in cash, as well as lucrative shares in Jungxin's Sungchen. To the unindicted co-conspirator, prosecutors said. The move led to a chain of events that led to a flux raid on June 17th, 2019. Before then, prosecutors alleged Trebek hired Cozart to find the victim and assemble a team to get victim one's signature on the settlement agreement. Cozart, in turn, hired Langford, then a sheriff's deputy, who, against the department's policy, searched victims one's name and date of birth in the National Crime Information Center database. Law enforcement databases are not to be used for personal reasons, prosecutors said. Trebet and Hart flew from Australia to Los Angeles, where they met with Cozart and Langford to plan out the sham raid, prosecutors said. During the hoax raid, the defendants forced the victim and his family into one room, authorities said. Their phones were taken away, prosecutors said, and they were prevented from leaving for hours. The businessman was also choked, slammed into a wall, and threatened with deportation for him and his wife, as well as possibly of permanently separating from their 4-year-old son, prosecutors said. The victim then signed the settlement agreement, authorities said, although the victim was told not to contact the police. When the defendants left, he reached out to Ivan police. Prosecutors said Langford falsely told police that he had been at the businessman's home for a legitimate law enforcement and purpose, that the businessman consented to all parties being in his home, and that no force was used, prosecutors said. By November 2019, all the defendants had been paid for their coercing the businessman to sign the settlement, authorities say. The unindicted co-conspirator paid Trebek's company $419,813 and emailed Trebek to thank him for a very good job, prosecutors said. And that is the end of the article as it stands. Like, wow, buddy, like that's crazy. And I'm really interested in finding out, will this man be able to recover any of his assets and funds um, from that? And why is the business partner not being indicted? Is the question. A lot of questions and stuff like that. I mean, the way that the article is written, she may just get away scot free, which is terrible. Nobody deserves to be, have people forcefully come into their home and be assaulted in front of their family and threatened. I mean, it would. I'm surprised that they didn't put terroristic threats on there, because I mean, come on, you have to, me just trying to put myself into the victim's shoes and things of that nature. You have these four people, they come in your house, your wife and your kids are there. Obviously all of you are shaken and scared and feel threatened and everything like that, and then you get assaulted, in the same room where your wife and kid is allegedly, and that's terrorizing. Just the impact that it would cause for the child, um, and all the parties involved that had to experience that is, you know, I just don't see why they didn't add terroristic threats on there. I mean, I don't know, Gerald, but as the story updates, I definitely will uh, keep you informed. This was an interesting story to me. Um, you know, and for two of those people that actually did the crime to actually be, I'm assuming, active law enforcement. Wow. Okay. What my assumption is that they're going to move along with the prosecution of the four men. And as the trial comes out and details begin to be known, um, hopefully they will double back and get his business partner instead. Hopefully by that time, I'm hoping that she hasn't, you know, okay? But yeah, you know, if what they say is true and everybody should be held to the same standard of law, there's no reason why they shouldn't put charges on that woman, because that was just malicious. Okay? But I don't know, you guys. Let me know what you think. Drop down in the comment section as we always do. I love to hear from you. Come chop it up with me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And with that, you guys, I will get with you in the next one.